The 1st of August, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Thank you. Thank you. Lou mentioned this Rabbi Shlomo. She would summon up here in Yerushalayim Care of Zoom. We're learning a bit of a digression right now. The Maharal Prague in his Sefer Gevuras Hashem is explaining to us the reason and the understanding of what to know about why Claudius was sent into Gullus in Mitzrayim, why we were enslaved in Mitzrayim. So here we are in the 4th paragraph. You see it there on your screen. The paragraph beginning with Ata Ech Shoiv. We'll begin with that. Yeah.
Yeshov Divrei.
Yes. That's right. Any volunteers to read?
I do. V'ata ashov el divrei chachamim ha'nehavim v'ha'ne'imim ha'berorim ha'miosdim al adam hachama. And now, what's ashov?
That's like from the same words of machshava lachshov to consider. El divri chachamim. Now we'll consider the words of the sages.
Words of the sages. Chavim, I don't know. In fact, all these words I don't know. Up until Chacham.
Okay, one second. Anavim, I think that's like beloved, Minamim and cherished. Haburim, that are explanations. Hamiyusadim al adnei chacham, they are established on the pillars of wisdom. So now the morale says we're gonna go in and understand the. Good morning, Roy. Good to see you.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. I'm just going to.
Good morning.
First, I make myself a cup of much needed coffee and I'll be back in a minute. I'm sorry. I just have to.
Morning, Roy.
Morning.
Yeah. So the morale is pointing out, and now the morale went through several different explanations of why the commentators, some of the Rishonim explain why Claudius had to go to Galus Mitzrayim to be enslaved in Egypt for the 210 years we were there. But he wasn't. He asked questions on those commentaries, on those explanations, and now he says we're going to now think and consider the words of the Chachamim, Chazal, which are beloved and dear and clear. They are musadim. They are established al adnei chachma, on the pillars of wisdom.
The Parek Arba Nidarim. From Nidarim, Amar Rebbe Abahu.
So this, right? That's Perek Arba Nidarim. That's the name of a Perek in the Gemara in Nidarim. Arba Nidarim. That's in left Lamed Beis Amid Aleph. Amar Rebbe Abahu. Right. That's what we're quoting here. Rebbe Amar Abahu.
That's a Masechta?
Yes, that's true. Correct.
Okay. Mipnei ma ne'anas Avraham Avinu v'nishtavado benav me'atim v'asar shanim mipnei she'asa angarei
Ungaria,
Angaria.
Talmidi Chachamim, Talmidi Chachamim.
The Talmidei Chachamim.
So okay, so Rabbi Yavav, let's start here. Let's go back. Amar of Rabbi Yavav, said Rabbi Yavav, Meiman Nenesh Abraham Avinu. For what reason was Abraham Avinu punished?
Ne'enas is to punish.
Right, Ne'enash is to punish, correct.
Okay. And I don't know the next word.
Ishtabdu banav mameis asrim shanim, and they were subjugated, they were enslaved, his children, for 210 years.
Could you point where you are, please?
Right here, this paragraph right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shanim. Okay, they were punished for 210 years because they did what is Angaria?
Angaria is he drafted the Talmidei Chachamim into the army.
That was with the war with the five kings?
Yes, that's correct.
Aha, those were the people that he took with him.
Correct, that's right.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
I mean, the question is, was there anyone else around that he could draft? Maybe he was forced to draft them.
Right.
Not only that, but
Right.
they say that the Talmidei Chachamim are the ones that have to do the fighting because they're the ones that are free of sin.
Ah, good point.
Right. That's true. True enough. Nevertheless, he was punished for it.
Very interesting. Vayirak Chanichav Yiladei Beso. As it says, what is Vayirak?
Iraq is it's like he emptied the Chanichoi Lidei Beso. He like emptied them out. The ones he was training in the young ones he was training in his house. I'll point that pasuk out. You'll take a look. I believe it's a pasuk in Bereshis. We'll get to it in a minute. I'll tell you where to look. 1 second. I'll second.
Roy, how's your wife doing?
Baruch Hashem, she had a bit of a setback earlier on in the last night, and it was difficult, but now Baruch Hashem, she's fine. I just spoke with her. She sounds good, and looks like it's going to be okay.
Very good.
I'm still,
Shava refuah shlema.
thank you, I'm still upset. Very good.
And any idea how long she'll be in the hospital?
No, they're supposed to be there until tonight, perhaps, but under normal circumstances, but we'll see.
Okay, refuah shalema.
Bez Hashem refuah shalema there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, you can take a look in Parshas Lech Lecha. That's by Bereshis, Perek Yud Daled, Pasuk Yud Daled.
Daled Yudalad.
Yud Daled.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Avram heard that his brother was taken captive, and he armed his initiates. Let's see what that says. Vayarek es chanichav yelidei beso, that had been born in his house. Shmona Asar Ushlosha Meos. 318. Vayir Dov Ad done, and he chased them until dawn.
All right.
Let's see if there's a Rashi. Yes, Yud Daled 14. So on the phrase 318, a rabbi said it was Eliezer alone. And 318 is the total numerical value of his name.
Right.
That's a second opinion, but we're not going with that right now.
Right.
So with that, Rashi doesn't really say anything about the details of who these people were.
You know, this pasuk is a little strange because it said they pursued him as far as Dan, and as we know, Yaakov's sons were not born yet. So the territories must have been pre-established in Abraham's time.
Yeah, that the names were they sometimes the Torah calls things by names that will be given in the future.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
That you see in Parshas Bereshis, that concept is mentioned a few times
Very good.
by the rivers that were coming out of Gan Eden, the names of the rivers that were coming out of Gan Eden. So they're named after. Rashi mentions the names that are given there. Some of them are names that hadn't been established yet.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So this Gemara Nadarim is placing the blame for the punishment of Avram Avinu and the enslavement of Klal Yisrael in Egypt because of the necessity that Avram Avinu felt that he needed to cause the Bittul Torah of those people who he had initiated, he had converted, and they were learning Torah in his home. And since they were now, because of the necessities of battle, were taken away from the learning that they could have done, so that necessitated a Shibud Mitzrayim. They'll explain further. We're just beginning this, so see further about this. Yeah.
Shmuel Amar Mipnei She hafriz al mitosav shel hakadosh baruch hu shamar bima eda. And Shmuel said, because what is this word? Hafriz.
Malfreeze is that he was overly familiar. He was over familiar. He became too chummy with the midas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He was not sufficiently respectful with the Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Uh-huh. Al midos shel hakadosh baruch hu shamar b'ma eda, that he said, how will I know? So now it's changing to the bris habitarim.
Right.
So I'm a little confused. What was the conclusion of the previous thing that he was? Oh, that was the conclusion. He was punished because he drafted those scholars.
Right. So
Period.
it could be a machlokus. Could be a machlokus between Rabbi Abahu and Rabbi Yochanan.
All right. Okay, so now Shmuel is opening a new point and saying that it was because he said, "How shall I know?" And that was in being overly familiar with Hashem.
Right.
The Rebbe Yochanan Amar Sheha Friz Al Mitosav Shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu Milavo Garim Takas Kanfei Shechina Shene'amar Tain Li Hanefesh V'har Kosh Ka Licha. And Rabbi Yochanan says that he became familiar with the midos of Hashem. He what is milavo?
That he brought the Gerim Takas Kanfei Yeshchina, that he brought the converts to
Under the wings of the Shekhinah.
yeah, right, that they should be able to serve Hashem.
Shnei Amar, as it says, give me the souls, v'harakosh ka lecha, and the goods you can keep.
Yeah, this is what Avram Avinu said to Melech Sodom after the war. So there was all the booty and the spoils of war. So Avram Avinu said to Melech Sodom that I'll take the people, and you, Melech Sodom, can keep all the booty. So apparently that was not so proprietous to just accept these people as converts. You have to see what that means exactly, why that was not exactly a proper decision. You think that would be a good thing,
Yeah, I always understood that was a good thing, that he was saying, I don't care about the wealth. I care about the spiritual value here.
Right. So, yeah, we'll have to see if we can understand that, why that should be, what's the criticism of that action on Avramino's part? Why was that not a wise decision?
Array Gimel Daos Be'avin Ze V'chulam Talu Hadavar Bachata. We see the three daos, three understandings.
These three opinions, we just mentioned three opinions. So
Opinion.
these three opinions, they all have are the, placing the blame on Echet. They're all placing the reason for the Shibud Mitzrayim because of a sin. There was some sin on the part of Avraham Avinu that needed to be compensated for.
Right. They're all basically interpreting actions of Avraham Avinu to be sins,
Right.
and therefore causes.
Right. So the cause for the Shibud Mitzrayim would be some sin of sorts of Avraham Avinu.
Right. Bedavka bechata Avraham, and specifically sins of Avraham. Bibnei ki kavar amarnu lecha ki min ha shoresh v'ha ikar nimshach hakol. Because already we've said to you, since from Hashoresh, from the root, and the essence of what's Nimshach?
Right. So, see, because the question is, all three opinions are placing the blame of the necessity of the slavery to Egypt because of the Chet of Avram Rishon. And why is that? Ki kibar rinulach, we've already mentioned to you, ki min hashorish ba'ikar nimshach hakol, that the source and the primary beginning of results in everything that's going to follow. Meaning, from this source and the primary essence of something, everything else follows suit from that.
The Nimshach is results.
Well, through and from the source and what is primary, everything else results because from that.
Right.
And since Avraham Avinu was the beginning, the source of Klal Yisrael, so everything that's going to happen to Klal Yisrael will be traced in one way or another back to Avraham Avinu.
So, the sin of the spies is traced back to Avraham Avinu.
It's in some way we could trace it back if you if you're wise enough to do it, you should be able to do it, but you have to have a lot of wisdom to do that, but it's possible, would be possible.
Interesting. Okay. She'im nimtza ha chesron b'shoresh yimshach ha-chesron gam kein al ha-nimshachim mimenu. She'im, that if nimtza, we find chesron, value, in the root, yimshach, I don't know. Chesron is something of the value.
That's the soren is usually some type of a lack or a deficit. That she'im nimsach soren b'shorish, if there's going to be some type of a deficit, right, in the shorish, in the source, it'll result in a chesoron, in a deficit, also in all those things which result from it.
So in this case, the shoresh is Abraham.
Right, that's right, correct.
There's a deficit in Abraham, and therefore we trace the problems back to him. Just a question of which particular action of his was the chesron.
Right. In which one of these three things? I mean, but at each one of the opinions, it was each one is pointing out a different lack of. We'll have to see what in each case, what was it a lack of? It was a lack of, maybe we'll explain exactly how do you analyze these three opinions? What's the difference between the three of them? Why this one instead of that?
Lefikach da'asam zal gam kein ki b'mareh hazeh har'eh HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'Avraham hakol ki hu hi shoresh hakol. Therefore, Da'asam is a person.
No, the figure daitam zal. Therefore, their opinion zechon bracha, meaning he was still referring to those three opinions that we just learned before. Three opinions that brought down the three different events that were blamed as the cause of the Egyptian enslavement.
Okay, so the opinions of the sages, Gam Cain, also he b'mare. What's b'mare?
That's I think what was shown to Avram Rabbeinu at the Bris Bein Basarim. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it's referring to.
Hare HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it was shown by Hashem, the Avram to Abraham, Hakol, everything, because he was the root of all. Ulechein near Maz Bezeh Kol Ha Gilios Lo galus Mitzrayim bilvad ela af yavod kol ha-malchios. And therefore, what's near Maz?
Therefore, it is indicated. Mirmaz is like an indication. Nirmaz from like a remiz. L'chach nirmaz b'zeh kol hagolas v'lo golas Mitzrayim bavad. All the golases, all the exiles, and not just the golas of Mitzrayim alone.
But even Sheyavod kol ha-malchios. What's Sheyavod?
That the shibud, that was the enslavement. Gam af ashibud kol ha-malchios. Also the enslavement of all the other times we were enslaved by the non-Jews.
Right. All the exiles were not only the exile of Misraim, but even the enslavements of every kingship. Kamo she darsho zal in Bereshis, v'gam lirevos she ya'avod sha'ar malchios. Like was expounded by the sages in Bereshis, on Bereshis Rabbah, and also for many enslavements, Sha'ar Malchios, that were due to kings.
That l'kach nirmaz b'zeh. Therefore, it's indicated in this kol hagalus, all the exiles below Golus Mitzrayim b'vad, not simply the Egyptian exile. Ela af shibud kol ha-malchus. Even rather, it's also included all the servitudes of all the other rulers over us.
Right, continue, please. Like
Kimosha Amru Chazal Bereshis Rabbah Gam L'Rabos Shibud Shar Malchus. It's also coming to include the servitude of the other conquerors, of our other conquerors.
other conquerors. Sha'ar is other.
Right, exactly. Good.
V'hadin imahem kamo sheharei hakadosh baruch hu la'Avraham sheyavod Mitzrayim kach harei lo sheyavod kol hamalchios. And the law for them.
Meaning it means hadin imayim. It's a phrase meaning and they're correct, right? Hadin imayim, and what they said is correct.
What they said is correct. like that we see that Hashem to Abraham that the enslavement in Egypt so we see for him that there's enslavement in from all of the conquerors.
Yeah, Kamo Shiro HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Abram, that as Hashem showed Shiro, that Hashem showed to Abram Shibud Mitzrayim, just as Hashem showed Abram Shibud Mitzrayim. Kach Hu also likewise Hashem showed Abram Avinu Shibud Kolamakas. He showed us the substitute of this subjugation of all our conquerors.
He hakol hu min shach min ha-shoresh v'ha-ro'eh lo kol asher yimshach l'zar'o. Since all who were what's nimshach?
Yeah, right. Ki hakol hu nimshach min hashorish, since everything results from the source. Ve'aroya lo kol asher yimshach l'zaro, and he showed him, meaning Hashem showed Avraham Avinu everything, how will be continuing this through into their offspring. It'll also continue to his offspring.
L'chach da'asam zal gam kain shehu chet nimtza v'Avraham shehu hashoresh ha-bishvil kach nimtza ha'onesh v'zar'o. So, excuse me a second. Sorry about that. When it rings, it comes in my earphone, in my hearing aid. It's very loud. So let's see. We said, therefore, the opinion of the sages also
That there was some sin to be found in Abraham.
That he, since he is the shorish, the source, and because of this, we find ha'onesh bizarro. We find that his offspring are punished. Uma she hakisha ki ein efshar she yeh Avraham nas venas. And what What is this Hashika, Hakasha? A question?
Well, since we see that there's a, excuse me, since there's some chet that they attribute to Avram Avinu, and since he's the source that everything will emanate from Avram Avinu to his offspring. So therefore, we see that there's going to be some punishment to his offspring because of the chet that he possessed. Okay.
And what is this word Shehakasha?
That excuse me, Shakasha, that they were Uma Shakasha, and that what was a question.
Since it's not possible, or efshar, how is it possible?
That yeah, that was possible. Efshar Shir Avram Nenesh. How could it be that Avram should be punished?
V'harei Avraham ne'amar sham b'shiva tova tikavar below tir'eh kol eila. And we see that with Abraham, that he said over there, Beshiva Tova. What's Beshiva Tova?
Save it, Tova. In that was a promise to Avram Avinu. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave a promise to Avram Avinu. It's also a pasuk. Let me see if I can find it for you. 1 second.
Thank you.
You look in also in Parshas Lech Lecha
Uh-huh.
in Perek Tezvav, also Tezvav.
Mhm.
That's where it's mentioned a promise. This is another promise that Hashem made to Avraham Avinu. You see the pasuk there?
And you shall come to your ancestors in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age.
Right.
So let me see, we're going to translate what? Uh,
So save a toiver is in a good old age.
ah,
So
I see.
it could. Well, the question is that apparently you would think perhaps this promise might protect Avraham Avinu from receiving any punishments.
Right. right? Okay, le kavar lo tir'eh kol ela. To kavar already, we do not tir'eh. We're not shown all of these.
uh, that it could be that he shouldn't see this, meaning that because he was supposed to have a good ripe old age, he shouldn't see any of these punishments that would be inflicted upon his offspring. So how is Hashem showing him these things now? This is not doesn't seem to be such the nicest thing to tell a person about.
The Eich Ne'amar Shehachota Yamos Bishiva Tova V'yishar Hachata Levanav Shelo Chatav Chato. And how does he say, how does he say that the sins yamot are of death?
How the eighth Nemar? How can it say that the one who's? I mean, if we're going to say that it was a sin on Avraham Avinu's part, so how can it be that he, Avraham Avinu, who sinned, should go have a good ripe old age, and die b'sevetay, should die in a good ripe old age, and yishar hachet lebenoi shlochate, and the like the payment, the payment of the sin should be left over for his sons who didn't sin. Doesn't sound very right. The whole idea that we're saying that because Avraham sinned, so therefore, so we understand that he's the source and he's the source, and therefore everything that happens will emanate from what he did. So he has a chet, it'll be somehow projected, onto and into his offspring as well. But how could it be that he himself, who sinned, would now, so to speak, get away with it and have a nice, good old ripe age without any punishments, and the punishment should be exacted upon his offspring who did not sin? That doesn't seem very righteous. Doesn't seem very logical.
Kasha Zos Hakadosh Baruch. I'm sorry. Hakasha Ha-Mefaresh Ha-Nizkar al Divrei Kachamim Velo Yada Ki Nafsho Davar. This question is a question that is explained beneath Hanis Kar from memory.
That has been mentioned. This question is a question. This question is an explicit question on those words of the Chachamim, right?
Right. Al divrei Chachamim v'lo yada ki b'nafsho davar, and it's not known how with his soul, how the matter is with his soul?
V'lo yada ki b'nafsho davar. V'lo yada ki b'nafsho davar. V'kush zeh hiksha b'miforish anizker al divri chachamim. V'lo yada ki b'nafsho davar. I think it's like this. V'kashazu because of those hiksha ameforish anizker al divri chachamim. And this was a question that was asked by one of the commentaries on the words of Chazal, as we quoted before. Lo yoda ki b'nafsho. And he didn't realize that the same question applies to him. It's a double question for me, two different points of view. It's a double question.
So it's a question about Abraham, and it's also a question about the sages.
On what we said, it's a question on one of the Meforshim that brings down, that explains the Gemara that we had previously. This is a reference. Excuse me 1 second. This is a Hikshazu Hiksha Meforshim is called Milchami. Yeah, this is something we mentioned earlier, that the same question. This is basically saying the same question. This is that we can ask now, is what was asked previously. That when we discussed those who want to explain the reason for the Galus Mitzrayim was because of Mechiras Yosef. So why should those who weren't involved with the sin, why should they suffer and even die when it was a sin they didn't really have anything to do with?
So it's a question on the one who says that they did suffer and die.
Right.
Ki the Perusho Yiksha Zeh. Since the explanation asks this, Ki Natan Ta'am Mipnei Shechato B'nei Yaakov B'mechiras Achehem Urui Lomar Kafa Dechet Nigra Nishraf Chardala Pesachim. It's from Pesachim. V'harei lo hayu ha'irvatim chayim. So since they give the reason because they sinned, the children of Yaakov, b'machiras achehem. What's b'machiras?
That was the selling of their brother.
But in the selling of their brother, and we see to say kafa the hate, that's the sin. Kafa. What's kafa?
That they were already right? The omer kafir dechet nigra nisraf hardla. That if the if the if this one did the chet, it should be that the other one should be burnt in other one should be burnt as retribution, meaning it's not the whole logic is faulty. Someone does a sin and someone else should bear the punishment for it. It doesn't seem logical.
And it says that in Pesachim that you burn the one who didn't do the sin.
Yeah, it's a muscle, like, yeah, it's like if you wanna cook something, right? So the thing you want to cook is the thing you want to eat is what you cook. You don't cook something you don't want to eat. So the thing that did the sin, that's the one that has to get punished, not someone else getting punished. Bahari lo chayu hashvatim chayim, meaning at the time of the Shibud Mitzrayim, those who sold Yosef were no longer alive anymore.
Oh, because the shibud didn't start until after Levi died.
That's right. So they sold Yosef, and their children are going to pay the price. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Okay, good. We'll need to stop here. Let's see. Right. So where are we going with this? This is the first of the documents. Do we have more? I have to continue this 1 second. We're still in the middle here.
Yeah, it seems like we're in the middle.
Yeah, we're still in the middle. There's more to go. Right. Okay. So I'll be preparing the rest of this for next week.
Beautiful.
Right.
Get
Thank you, Rabbi.
Hey,
Very good.
Yeshayach,
Okay.
hello.
Thank you, Lou, very much. We'll continue with this.